Hi everybody, it's November 29th, 2025. I really took to the concept of being friends with myself when I was younger, when I wasn't too happy with myself and with my life. I thought that becoming my friend was the answer to all the problems that I was facing. It would be the answer to low self-esteem, it would be the answer to fear, it'll be the answer to failure. And so every time I tried to be a friend to myself, it would get dashed away by maybe a insult, or maybe by the loneliness, or maybe by failing again and again to do things that I wish I could and to be a confident person. And so as I went on trying, I found out that it was incredibly hard to be friends with myself. Even though I understood my situation and understood that I was in a precarious, part of my life, or precarious situation that was ongoing, I still couldn't become friends with myself. I tried to, subscribe to the mentality of a rapper. The rappers are very egocentric, and they have bravado, and they have ultra confidence. They're infallible. I try to incorporate the rapper mentality into my life, but I couldn't fake it, because I knew the truth, and the truth was so in my face that I couldn't fool myself into becoming my own friend. And as I got older, I let that notion of becoming my own friend go. And what actually got me to feeling good about myself, and what got me to becoming friends with myself consequently, was basically realizing that I am not perfect, that I am subject to the problems of life, that I need help. And I got that help from God. And God helped me become a friend to myself, because I realized God's mercy and God's love for me, and it inspired me to be that to myself, and to be understanding of myself, and to give myself what I needed. And I didn't need to be complimented by myself. I didn't need to have my head blown up by myself. I needed a friend. I needed understanding. I needed love. And I didn't know, I found out that I didn't truly know what love was. So this gets me to thinking about arguing with myself. Arguing with yourself as a strategy. Once you are in a confident space in your internal dialogue, arguing with yourself incessantly is not a bad thing. Because when you argue with yourself, you talk about the future. And when you talk about the future and you argue with yourself, and you start paring down the actual issue and the actual contingencies of this problem, you start to develop a strategy. And because once you whittle it down, every answer that you have, come back with a counter argument, and these will sharpen your approach to the situation in the future. And then sometimes when you get to a point where you can't argue back, or you can't find a solution, and there's silence, that silence is the answer. Either you're not being honest with yourself and you can't continue the argument because you're not being honest with yourself, or there's silence and there's no answer because the answer is right there, the last thing you came upon. So that's the benefits of arguing with yourself. And arguing with yourself gets rid of lots of things, especially guilt. When you can argue for and against the presence of guilt inside your mind, inside your heart, you could wither it away, because usually guilt is not an emotion or a concept that is given to you because you are actually guilty. For the most part, it's because something is off that is catching your attention. So yes, I'm not saying that you can't be wrong. Sometimes you do wrong, but sometimes the guilt is there as a hindrance, as a blockage. So let's say you did something wrong. Let's say you were selfish with a person, and so you start arguing with yourself, and you found out why you were selfish. You found out particularly how this could inconvenience that person. Then most of the times you realize that you didn't do the person wrong on purpose, there was something that was blocking your view. There was something that was distracting you, and that person just got into your sphere at the wrong time. And now, if you are willfully or willingly being harmful to others and being selfish, continue the argument with yourself, and you will find pretty quickly that this sort of behavior is not only not beneficial to the person that you are offending, it's not beneficial to you either. This is why arguing brings out the truth. Lots of times people, when they argue with themselves, they can't handle the darkness that comes up. But once you realize that you're not the darkness, that the situation in life is the darkness, you bring the light to yourself with the truth that you get from the arguments. So another benefit of arguing with yourself is to close the door behind you, close the door to your past that is bothering you. If you are self-aware enough, when you argue with yourself, you're going to come up with the details of exactly what went down, what was in your control, what was out of your control. And with this sort of defining conversation, things make sense. Your past makes sense, your present and your future will make sense. So arguing with yourself has many benefits. It just takes a bravery to confront the dark stuff or the stuff that you want to ignore or avoid, and bringing it to the light. And by doing this, you make your heart stronger and you make your faculties more sharp. So I hope this helps. Thanks.